swear my husband has been cheating on me left, right, and center, and I just found out that he got all his side chicks pregnant. My mom and I have decided to just carry on with our lives and mind our own business and just be happy and go on about our merry little way. Lady in Black and her minions are trying with all their might to get us to entertain them as much as we've been entertaining them all these years. But we're just not budging because, I mean, we know the truth. So why on earth would we entertain a witch? The very same way that certain family members are still entertaining her. They're just like her. And that's why they are her minions and enablers. There's no way, absolutely no way, a sane person who knows the truth would continue to rub shoulders with someone who not only has harmed the entire family to the point where there are certain people who have just been like, If it has anything to do with the Msibi family, I know Lady in Black will be leading whatever it is that's happening there. I know she'll be the one calling the shots. I know she'll be the one just shagazering and ruining everything together with anger issues. Because a lot of people don't know how snaky Pickle is. So a lot of people look at Lady in Black and anger issues and they always expect the worst from them, not knowing there's a silent player in their team. And so they cut ties with our family because they knew what was going on and they were like, I don't have time for this BS and I don't play with demons. But there are certain people who know exactly what's up but who are still bosom buddies with this person. And you can't tell me you yourself are not a witch. Stop it right now. So now that my mom and I have moved on with our lives and we're no longer entertaining her, she decides to send inyoka, snakes and different animals, ilwane or Tikoloshe, scary things from the dark, evil world to come and scare us. Hey, little did she know who she was attacking. With what? We fear nothing. And time and again you've tried different strategies. You've employed different approaches and strategies and you've failed. Leave us alone. Hi, Agafun. She doesn't want to let go of us. She's trying many different ways to worm back into our lives. And the fact that my husband and I came back home and nobody knew about it, not even her who claims to see into the past, the present, and the future. She was as shocked as everyone when they finally saw us. And we had been home for a while. In fact, we got home in July, ne babe?
Yeah.
In fact, we came home in July, but we told them we came back in August just so I could celebrate my birthday with my loved ones. And they literally thought we came back in August, but we had been there for a while and we had to keep that to ourselves. Ask me why. Because our family is that dangerous. You can't divulge such information to people who rub shoulders with your worst enemies. I don't care how much they claim to love you. I don't care how much they claim to care about you. I don't care how much they want to be a part of things that have to do with you. We had to protect ourselves. So the 10th of August finally comes. King Zani's thinking, hubby, mommy, and King Zani are just gonna go out and have dinner at a fancy restaurant and just spend quality time and thank the Lord for this blessing, for this new year, right? Only to find out, Uguti, my hubby Zabi, my shushuwe, threw me a surprise party. He decided to collaborate with my mom and they planned my surprise birthday party. Oh my goodness, I can't explain that feeling. That was the most beautiful, okay, well, after the feeling that I felt on my wedding day, but like, my goodness, Very close. It was very close. I wish I could bottle that happiness, that amount of joy, appreciation, all that love. I really wish I could bottle it. And every time I feel some type of way, get it and take a sip, because I was ecstatic. I was genuinely surprised because I had no idea that they were planning something that huge, that beautiful, that godly. Till this day, I think back and I'm just like, wow, I am so blessed. And I can't believe there was ever a time when I would cry and be like, why are things so difficult? Why do people hate me? Why do people constantly disappoint and betray me? What did I do to these people? What's with the jealousy? I want everyone to win. So then why are they getting upset when I win? That time, I have a whole tribe. I have a whole team in my corner that genuinely wishes me well. And my husband invited everybody whom he knows, because our loved ones observe everything that happens in our lives. They take note and keep record of how people treat us. And they get to see ngehlo elinqunu that isn't diluted. They get to see with a naked eye that isn't diluted by emotions and confusion and desperation for inclusion and love. And they're like, these are your people, not these people. So my husband invited all the people who are genuinely down for me, and they threw me a surprise party, and it was a huge success. The next day comes. I call certain people, and those people had the gall to cry about the festivities that had taken place. They had the nerve to cry about the fact that they were not invited to my birthday party. People who've made it a point to be best friends with my worst enemies had the gall to cry and be all swollen-faced and red-eyed because they were not invited to my birthday party. How do I let you into my space? How do I know that your best friend didn't send you to come and drop certain things within my home so that you ruin my life or you lead me to my demise? The other had the gall to say, I am so pissed off at my mom. She said she was pissed off at the fact that my mom initially told them, this is what we're planning, but we're still preparing for it, and I'll get back to you about it. My mom, being the peaceful angel that she is, considered going against my husband's wishes and inviting people that are dodgy, people who claim to be on the fence, people who claim to be neutral, people who claim that they'll never insert themselves into things that don't concern them, even though those things concern me and directly affect me, but they claim they love me. What do you call that? My mom was still sweet enough to consider them, to include them, to acknowledge them, and inform them. But when my husband put his foot down and said, this is the list and it stays as is, can I please be respected? He was respected, and the people that needed to be there were there. So for me, the fact that people have the audacity to speak like that about my mom after everything that she has done, after all the sacrifices that she has made, after carrying the entire family on her back, after neglecting her child and taking on so many responsibilities to ensure that certain people are okay. People have the nerve to say, I'm so pissed off that your mom did this. Do you not think my mom is pissed off that you have chosen a side when she raised you? Do you not think my mom is heartbroken, disappointed, and pissed off that you have the audacity to invite her to certain things? And then because your bosom buddy says, I don't want her next to me, I don't want her within my space, you call off invitations and you say, it's nothing major, you don't need to come. It's okay for you to do that, but it's not okay for her to be like, actually, I've changed my mind. When all these years You've been comfortable with keying and rubbing shoulders with her worst enemies, when all these years, her one daughter has been the one taking care of her. Do you think it sits well with my mom that she thinks, the children I've raised have proven not to give a flying fuck, and without my daughter, I'm alone? Do you not think that scares and pisses my mom off? Even though she knows I'm responsible and no matter what happens, she'll be set for life. But as a human being, sometimes certain thoughts cross your mind and you're like, if something were to happen to this one person who's always making sure I'm good, who's always in my corner, who's always fighting my battles, and who's okay with appearing as the villain, just so she could protect me, what's gonna happen to me? Because I have no one. Regardless of having overextended myself, regardless of the fact that I bent over backwards and spread myself thin to make sure that everybody is good, everybody is educated, and everybody has a bright future. Everybody chose their own path. But still, my daughter and I are still enemies because according to them, we succeeded the most. Why would your family even think like that? Why is there even a comparison? Why is it even a competition? Why can't they be happy for us the same way we're happy for them? When good things happen to them and in their lives. Not everyone is meant to live the lives that we live. Everybody has a purpose to fulfill. But for some odd reason, the way our lives are set up upsets everyone. To the point where people we've never had any issues with have turned their backs on us. My in-laws send a letter stating that they'd like to conclude everything pertaining to my wedding because my husband and I had already gotten married abroad and had a private and intimate destination wedding, which only certain and important people knew about. So they just had to do the formalities and finalize certain things and have certain ceremonies so that certain people would be included and certain ceremonies would be documented, particularly in South Africa. The letter arrived mid-August, but we shared all the information closer to the wedding date. Why? Because that's how dangerous my family is. The thought of divulging such information too soon came across as not smart, knowing the things they get up to in their dark corners. We believe that no weapons formed against us shall ever prosper, but it's also important to use your brain. God doesn't want you to be an idiot. If you know there are people against you who don't wish you well and who are proud to be your enemies and who state with their chests that they hate you and that they are witches who have shrines where your name is called and doom and gloom as well as death are spoken upon it. Why would you share such good, beautiful, and godly news with them instantaneously? We're constantly fighting battles in the world, physical and spiritual. We don't want to increase the amount of battles that we're fighting, even though we know that we will win. But we just don't want to increase the amount of battles. We don't have that time. We don't have that energy. We are popping and we want to invest our time, energy, money, and all the good things in things that actually matter, in things that we actually love and enjoy, not abatagati and their minions. You get me? So my mom finally decides to send the letter as well as the invitation to all the relevant parties according to her. Everybody receives it well and everybody's like, oh my goodness, this is huge. This is beautiful. Congratulations. We're excited. Thank you so much for sharing. We shall be there. Everybody except anger issues responded. So my mom was like, that's strange, especially considering the fact that anger issues has a major role to play, if he does decide to come, that is. So my mom phones anger issues. She calls him and she's like, yo, I don't know if you saw, but I sent a letter and an invitation in the group. As I always send things in the group, as everybody sends stuff in the group, as this is how we all communicate nowadays. And everybody always responds and pitches to whatever it is they're invited to. Hey, Anger Issue says, I need a proper invitation. Do you know how serious and how deep this is? I need a traditional invitation. Until then, I have nothing to say to you. My advice is that you go consult and find out what exactly it is you need to do in order to do this the right way. Because this is very, very deep. There are certain spirits and forces involved in such a huge ceremony. And certain people need to sit down and decide who gets what. And how is this, that, and the third going to be done? After having consulted, you'll get back to me. Until then, deuces. Cling! My mom is like, that didn't just happen. Let me call again. Perhaps ngiyaphupha. Perhaps I'm dreaming and I'm reading too much into it. Perhaps there are network issues. There's no way lo muntu ufike wangiyela kanje ngomshado wengane yami ayizondayo wajike lapho wavala ifone ngisakhuluma naye ngiyusisi wakhe omdala njalo. There's absolutely no way this guy just decided to disrespect me like this when I had the decency to invite him to my daughter's wedding, the very same daughter he despises. Surely he's experiencing network issues and he didn't just hang up on me. Surely he didn't just speak to me like I'm some para on the side of the road. Surely. So let me try again. My mom calls him again. My mom says, I don't know if you heard me. And I don't know if I heard you correctly. What do you mean? Because every time we invite everyone to anything, whether it is a traditional ceremony or it's a Western type of vibe ceremony, anything and everything, everybody receives it, everybody acknowledges it, and everybody attends, including you. Now, what's the issue? Why do you have an issue all of a sudden? And he said, I don't take such invitations seriously. And like I said, once you've consulted and you've done your research, get back to me. Ding! Yo! And when I tell you the day before the wedding, Anger Issues had the audacity to call Pickle and gossip with Pickle and tell Pickle I am not setting foot there. Because Zanele did not call me back when I told her she needed to do her research and call me back. Zanele is older than him, number one. Zanele knows exactly what she's doing and she knows she owes him absolutely nothing. The fact that she even called him, the fact that she even invited him is huge. So the nerve to think he deserves more than that after everything he said and done was mind-blowing. And the fact that Pickle entertained him was appalling. When I tell you he really didn't pitch, like he literally exposed himself and his hatred for me. He had absolutely no shame. He had made it clear that he hates both my mom and I, even though there's no reason behind it. But the fact that he exposed himself, Kanjeyana, and he didn't care that people saw that he wasn't there, spoke volumes. The fact that he was okay with people realizing that, my goodness, this guy hates an innocent child, and he went as far as not coming to her wedding. Yes, sis. Sick. So kahle, the problem was the fact that yet again, I'm the one who's being celebrated. Something this big and this beautiful is happening to me and in my mom's life as well as my life. And people think we don't know because we've heard them express that, yo, jalo mahlangana, bungazwa bona. There's always something happening in their lives, always something good happening in their lives, we always have to praise and celebrate them and compliment them because they're always just elevating and elevating. How is that an issue? God is within the vicinity and you have a problem with that. God is blessing your blood and you're dumb enough to block your own blessings simply because you're jealous. So the night before the wedding, my mom establishes that Pickly and her had almost identical dresses. Yes, sis. Whew, it was a mura. So my mom's like, yo, Pickly Riser, this looks almost like my dress and that's not gonna work. So Pickly's like, don't you have something else to wear? Because I'd like to wear this. My mom's like, I don't. I wish I did. And if I did, I really would wear something else. But this is the particular dress that I got tailor-made for me. I'm so sorry I don't have an alternative. If you do, could we please work something out because we can't look like twins at my child's wedding. It's my child's wedding. As the mom, obviously, I need to stand out because it's also my day. Hey, Pickle says, what? This is the dress I want to wear. If we're supposed to look like twins, then so be it. It's also my day. She's also my daughter. All is well. Maybe this is what was supposed to happen. There's no mistake. There's no coincidence. Relax. And my mom's like, are you serious? You're joking, right? And she's like, no. Also, I don't have an alternative. I don't have any other dress to wear. So it is what it is. And my mom's like, can't you send one of your children to bring you something else that looks as fabulous? And she's like, no, I want to wear this dress. Whew. When I tell you, my mom and I did not sleep a wink that night. We cried all night. We were so stressed. We were so devastated. Imagine all the time, effort, and money that had been put into putting everything together because remember, we made history. Saqopha umlando, we made history and we did everything in one day. And if you're black and Zulu, you know there's a whole lot that needs to be done. And we went above and beyond. So with all the stress that we had endured, preparing sisodwa because we didn't get help from anyone else. It was just me, my husband, and my mom running around like headless chickens, making sure all is well. People just arrived as guests, family members. Obviously, a few of them, babamba lapo na lapo, and they helped here and there. We appreciate that. One even chipped in and was like, yo, if you need to buy veggies or whatever it is you need to buy, this is my contribution. We appreciate that. We'll never overlook such things. But throughout the planning and preparation process, we did everything on our own. And everything else that needed to be done on the other side, my in-laws were taken care of. Can you imagine? That time I have gang family members. Yet sibangak. Only 3 of us were making sure everything goes according to plan. So my mom and I cry all night. Imagine, it is now my wedding day. Until 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm trying to console her. I'm trying to comfort her. And I'm just like, Mom, it'll all work out. I'll do what I can, even though I shouldn't leave the house. But we'll go together and we'll find a dress in the morning. Here I am stressing about things I shouldn't be stressing about. But because Pickle wants everything to be a complete mess, this is happening. We suffered throughout the night. It's now 5 a.m. and I'm like, okay, relax. We'll sort it out. My mom is not hearing it. She's like, how? Everything is just, it's a mess. She won't even listen to me. I don't understand. I thought she was my sis. I thought she was on our side. Why would she betray us like this? This is such a simple thing to do. All you have to do is be a good big sis and be like, yo sis, it's your day. Wear your dress. I'll figure something out. So simple. You don't even need to put much thought into that. Just be a decent human being. Even if they weren't sisters, the next person would have been like, actually, oh my God, is wearing this. It's similar to mine. I'm partying if it's almost identical. I need to make a plan so that she stands out as the bride's mom. It isn't rocket science. It took my sister telling her, Pitla, can't you ask one of your children to bring you something else to wear? Did you not bring something else to wear? Like, seriously. Like, why? Why would you put your sister and your daughter / your niece through something like this? They've been stressed out all night. Up until the wedding day. Seriously, have a heart. And she was furious. She walked to the next room and she claimed that she was praying in the next room. A few minutes later, she calls us into that room and she says, I've spoken to God and God says I need to do the right thing. I finally see the light. So I'll ask my daughter to bring me something else and then you can wear your dress. Here I am being forced to apologize to someone who ruined my wedding day. Because my mom is such a sweetheart, such an angel who's all about peace, love, and forgiveness. She says, oh my goodness, thank you, sis. My daughter, let's apologize for even saying, oh, she's so mean for doing that. Let's scrap her off as one of the people who'll talk at your wedding ceremony. That time, I'm not sorry. I meant it. Like, we pitla. You are not to be trusted. Why do we have to beg you to do something so simple? Why do we have to beg and plead just so you can be a decent human being, a proper good sister? It took a child telling you that this is wrong. There's an alternative, so explore that alternative. And the bride's mom should look her best. It took a child to change your mind, and had that child not spoken up, you would still be adamant about wearing that dress because you're evil. And when it was almost time for the actual wedding ceremony and I was busy getting dressed, her daughter arrived and she was like, yo, I heard things almost turned sour. And I was like, yo, it got ugly. It got painful. It got disgusting. And the daughter said, I don't know why mom took so long to make that decision. Also because she's carrying an alternate dress. So she could have simply been like, yo sis, I have another dress, don't worry about it, I'll wear the other dress. I was so shocked to discover that Pitla lied. Remember, she said she didn't have an alternate dress. She said she had nothing else and she was going to wear what she wanted to wear. And her daughter exposed her. And I was like, my goodness. People are constantly getting exposed. But obviously I didn't want this to get to me and I didn't want my day to get ruined. So we all put on a facade and the wedding is a huge success. But guess what? Anger Issues is busy calling and asking what's happening, who's doing this, who's doing that, only to find out that my brother was the one who walked me down the aisle and that he wasn't needed for anything that went down and everything went according to plan. And he was mad about that too. And he was like, I'm the one who was supposed to walk her down the aisle. And he throws his toys out the cot and is like, excuse me? Walk who down the aisle? You have to love that person in order to walk them down the aisle. You have to actually be a part of their lives to walk them down the aisle. How does that even make sense to you? How would you even expect that with everything that has transpired, with what you just did today even? Like, but wahafa. Also, we noticed that certain family members chose to sit far away from the family table. They just chose to do their own thing. They didn't even take pictures with me. They left the wedding early. And the following day, they left without saying goodbye. That was a huge shocker because, like I said, there are people we have never fallen out with, people who've always been our people we always got on with so well, who just switched up on us, especially once they found out that I was getting married. I feel like it was just too much for everyone already. Impilo ya lengane, it's jalo nje. And I guess they were just so tired of watching me win, because when it was time for part 2 of our wedding, they were invited yet again, but they didn't pitch. They didn't even send a representative. Mind you, when they first heard about part 1 of the wedding, they were like, oh no, we have to attend a funeral, guy, until one of them was like, this is not a good look. Like, we'd be exposing ourselves. Like, it just won't look good for us. Let's show up. Only then did they decide to show up. And when I tell you, they stopped speaking to us after the wedding day, I kid you not. I kid you not. So now it is part 2 of the wedding. As per norm, we all put on a facade, but the cracks are starting to show. And as embarrassing and as sad as it is for people to start seeing that, there's no unity within this family, for me, I was happy. I felt vindicated that my mom and I are actually not crazy, because other people started seeing that, there are evil eyes here, there's jealousy here, there's envy here. Zanele, you need to be careful. My mom literally had to beg people to set things up accordingly, because as the bride's mom, she had to sit down and look pretty and smile and wave and obviously socialize with the in-laws. She literally had to tell people again and again and again, please make sure this is done. She had to beg people to complete tasks that would take a mere minute, and they wouldn't budge. And people were observing that. They probably thought no one saw. They probably thought no one picked up on that, but people saw that. Until my mom had to do it herself as the bride's mom. She had to get up and run around again like a headless chicken and make sure all is well. Everybody had agreed to meet at a certain time at my in-laws' house. Let me tell you that our other family members decided to arrive earlier than planned so that they could have breakfast, batate nebizo, and take things that were meant for my mom. Without communicating, without apologizing, nothing. They took those things and they left. Till this day, nobody said, Haibo, senzi puta. We apologize for doing that. It was wrong. Satati bizo zako ma nas. And we were expecting them to get back to mom and be like, Haibo, sewenzeki puta. We made a mistake and we took what was meant for you, mom. You'll get it when you get home, you know? But no, till this day, no one has apologized for doing something that effed up. Months go by and Lady in Black communicates that she'd like to revamp our grandma's tombstone. The very same grandma whom wathi eshona wathatha icontainer, wathatha amanzi, wamgeza ngawo, wathatha amanzi aphume esidumbini sagogo, wawapitshizela kwicontainer yakhe, wayivala, wayifaka emabeleni. The very same grandma that she turned into her Tikoloshe. She decided, let's revamp her tombstone and I'd like to get the ball rolling immediately. So if anybody could get a quotation, that would be nice. How? Sangapolisa masebo. The following day, my husband, my mom and I rushed to get a quotation. We got it. We communicated that this, that and the third will cost this much, and this is what we need to do to make sure that everything goes according to plan. We're willing to provide transport to and from wherever the tombstone needs to be transported. And my mom states that she will be contributing towards the food that will be needed at the unveiling ceremony. Hi, wonkumuntu ezwi. Everybody's like, oh, beautiful, thank you. A few days go by and my mom's like, it's been a minute, nothing's happening. We've played our part, so I don't understand why it's quiet, because people said they needed to get the ball rolling ASAP Rocky. So my mom's like, what's up? What's happening? Lady in Black says, I've decided I want to renovate and remodel the tombstone. And my mom says, okay, if you feel that way, she was your mom too. So that's okay. And my mom says, please note that I will contribute to it getting revamped, as well as the food that will be required. And my daughter, as well as my son-in-law, will be providing transport and everything else in between. Months go by. Everyone is silent. So my mom decides to call Pitli and ask, what's up? She's like, I thought we had decided and agreed on everything. So now why is everybody quiet? Pitli responds, I don't know. We're all waiting on Lady in Black to make the final decision. Lady in Black is the last born, mind you. The last born who's been exposed for being a witch. Yet usabadonsa ngekhala namanje kusakhala esakhe isicathulo namanje. They're still following her around. Engathi o Tikoloshe abancane. Like, she's still calling all the shots with everything they know about her. And mom is like, okay, you'll get back to me because nobody's telling me anything, and you're the only one who ever calls me, and you're the only one who seems to be on good terms with me. Pitli's like, I'd bet. Come September, or September lo esiphuma kuwona. We are currently in October. September, last month. Guess who sends a voice note inviting everybody, including my mom, to the unveiling ceremony? Pitli. So, Lady in Black, Pitli, and anger issues decided to exclude not only my mom, but myself and my husband, even though we had pledged to contribute in many different ways. They decided to create their own group and have their own private meetings and conclude everything. Ije Selmile, they have revamped and remodeled the tombstone, and they have even set a date, a specific date for the unveiling ceremony. Kuze kune dress code, daddy. And they state everybody ought to wear cream white and gold to the unveiling ceremony that's taking place on this specific date. How? Njani? Did we not ask what was going down? Did Pitli not tell us she had absolutely no idea and she'd get back to my mom and fill her in on the goings? Sekuthunywa yena manje. And ugijima phambili akanamahloni. She is now the one delivering the message that all is done and we excluded you and your children. And it's edile. We are done. Everything has been finalized. Without your input, nama contributions enu fusegan. So my mom sends the following message. Sengihlulekile ukuthula, ngishaye sengathi konke kuhamba kahle. Kuthina besisu sika ma. Sekukaningi ngikopolotana nokuthula ebantwini abazimisele ngempi makufika kimi nengane yami. Kuningi okwenzekile esikhathini esedlule namanje okusenzeka okuphulile umoya wami. Kodwa ngizokha phezulu ngoba uma ngingakudingida konke ngingabhala ngisho incwadi. Kanti futhi umuntu nomuntu uzazi kahle ukuthi wenzeni noma wenzani. Noma abantu bengaphika kanjani. Okuyihlazo ngaphezulu kwakho konke ukuthi lokhu kuhlukumezeka kuze kwaqaphakela nasenganeni yami uZanenhle. Okwacaca ba mhla efika emhlabeni ukuthi yena uzophathwa kabi acwaswe kwezinye izingane. uZanenhle wahlukumezeka ngezindlela eziningi ezihlasimulisa umzimba nezishaqisa igazi. Ekhula ehlezi ekhaya mina ngisebenzela nina njalo. Waze wacishe wathatha impilo yakhe eneminyaka ewu-8. Sathula sagcina phakathi kwethu singabazali bakhe ngenxa yokufuna ukuthula okungasisizanga ngalutho ngoba kwasibulalela ingane iphila kanti ngisho nobaba wakhe wahamba emhlabeni ebabaza ukukhohlakala komndeni wethu kanye nesibindi sokuphika nokuqamba amanga. Mhla mina obekade ethule yonke leminyaka senginquma ukukhuluma amaqiniso. Kunesigameko lapho uLady in Black wake waqinya uZanenhle ngikhona njalo ekhaya. Okwathi ngelinye ilanga uma ngimbuza ukuthi uma kuwukuthi wayebonile uZanenhle wawusungaze umklinye pho, wangitshela emehlweni wathi, and I quote, kwakuthiwa angimbulale kusho amadlozi ala ekhaya. How? Usho nje wayekade engamonanga ngalutho kuphela nje wayenukelwa yigazi, esho ukuqeda nya ngenganyama. Ngenxa yokwazi ukuthi umenzi uyakhohlwa kanti futhi nomndeni wethu awuzwani namaqiniso, izinkulumo siyazirekhoda sinoZanenhle, and we make it a point to do so because my goodness, abanamanga abaphiki yo. Kwathi phambi kokuthi kube khona inhlambuluko ekhaya elikhulu ngisabeka uZanenhle esithombeni ngokuzokwenzeka, uLady in Black wahlwitha ucingo. Kwakuyi video call eyayirekhodwa ngenkathi uZanenhle eseChina. Wazibuzela yena uZanenhle wathi, Lady in Black, kuzo zonke izigemegeme ozisho nozenze kimi okwangilimaza kakhulu yingenkathi ungishayisa okwephara ngiyingane ehlaza cwe ena 11 years. Wagibela phezu kwami wangiklinya ngaze ngakhihliza amagwebu kwaze kwalamula uma. Lapho uthi yingoba ngithathe amanzi akho okugeza ekubeni kwakungamanzi engangizibekele wona ukugeza izitsha. Wawukwenziswa yini lokho, Lady in Black? uLady in Black waphinda futhi wathi amadlozi ala ekhaya ayethi mangikubulale anizwa yini, esho ngamehlo anomlilo nenzondo eyisimanga. And mind you, during the nhlambuluko, when that was brought up, she was like, what? You lie. I would never do such a thing. Me? That is so evil. Unamanga Zanele, ukhohlakele kabi. Proving that people know very well what they do to us, how they wrong us. And when we expose them to the public and to people whom they respect, they deny, and they lie. Anywho, wababaza uZanenhle waze wakhala waphendula ngokuthi alikho idlozi langempela nelihle elingafuna kubulawe ingane emsulwa. uLady in Black wadinwa wathi uzoba uhobo waphesheya ubuye usuyisidumbu. Kangangokuthi yena uLady in Black wathuka wahluleka nawukufihla mhla ebona uZanenhle okokuqala emva kwaleyo nkulumo, ebuya echathambile, impilo yakhe ihamba kahle futhi ebuya ngokuzoshada. Okuningi kwalokhu kuhlukumezeka ngakusho ngoFebruary 28, 2021. Engangizitshela ukuthi usuku lwenhlambuluko, kodwa kucacile ukuthi nisalwisana nathi yize thina singanilwisi, okubika ukuthi iphutha lami kwakuwukugonyuluka amaqiniso. Ngalo lolu suku kuningi okwambuleka okufakazela izinxushunxushu ezikuleli khaya okwaphuma ngawo umlomo kaLady in Black. Ngenxa yokuthi abantu bayaphika uma usuzikhuluma izinto, sengafunda ukurekhoda njengoba ngenza ngalelo langa. okwaku February 28, 2021, nokuyilanga engagcina ngalo ukulibhada ekhaya. Okunye ukuhlukumezeka engakusho ngalelo langa kwakwenziwa anger issues. Okwathi uma ngikusho wayimangaza dad, naye ngamtshela ukuthi nginobufakazi ngalokho kanti futhi noZanenhle akakukhohlwa ukucwaseka akuthola kuye anger issues. Okokugcina akwenzile ukuthi angezi emshadweni kaZanenhle ngoba wayefuna special invitation asichaza ngokuthi esesintu. Okwasixaka ngoba phela zonke ezinye izimemo zemicimbi yesintu ubezithola ngayo lendlela aye futhi kuleyo mcimbi ngoba nakho kuumcimbi kaZanenhle omuhle nomkhulu kangaka. Wancamela ukungezi nhlobo, kwakumhalalisela lutho, ngisho embesiwe emva kokwenza leli hlazo. Akabonganga ngisho ukubonga. Kwacaca ukuthi inkulu inzondo futhi ayipheleli kimi. Kuzondwa nengane yami emsulwa. Okwenza sihlezi sizibuza ukuthi anger issues wayethi sibumbane njengezinqa kanjani emncwabeni kaMama ebe ehluleka ngisho ukudlala indima yakhe kuZanenhle ongakaze amenze lutho. Ngoba nangomemulo kaZanenhle wanqaba isiZulu ukudlala indima okwakumele ayidlale kodwa waba nesibindi sokususa umsindo. Hayi man, akwenziwa kanjalo man. Lokutshwala ungabunika usibanibani, lenyama ayizela kumina. Okusho khona ukuthi inhloso kuhlezi kusiphula imimoya nokusixovela izinto zethu ngoba ukuhamba kahle kangaka kwezimpilo zethu akwehli kahle. Kuningike nokunye akwenzile kumina. Ngisanezibazi zokukubika okunye. Kanti futhi omunye nomunye mhla ebuzwa ukuthi inzondo engaka idalwa yini, nganenzani le engaka, akekho okaphenduli. Ekuqaleni kwalonyaka savumelana ngokuthi mina no Lady in Black sizokwenza ama-quotation okulungisa i-tombstone kaMama. Njengoba sihlele nokwenza i-unveiling kaMama, sasukumela phezulu sinoZanenhle kanye nomkhwenyana wakwami. Sayenza i-quotation, sayithumela egroupini kungakapheli ngisho usuku iceliwe. Kwabongwa ngasho nokuthi uZanenhle kanye nomyeni wakhe bacele ukusebenzisa imoto yabo to transport each. Uma sesivumelene ngokuthi kuthathwa yipi i-quote, uLady in Black suggested ukuthi kube ne-edition lisale selishintshwa itshe. Ngakubeka kwacaca ba ukuthi ngizocontributa ekuthenini lilungiswe. Kwi-edition ngeke ngize ngikwazi, kodwa ekudleni ngizocontributa futhi nakhona. Kanti uZanenhle nomyeni wakhe bazocontributa ey'ntweni ey'faka i-transport nokunye abafuna ukucontributa kuko. Kwacaca savumelana, bavuma babonga abantu. Zadlula izinyanga, uZanenhle nomyeni wakhe baze bahamba yize babeyimisele ukube ingxenye yakho konke lokho okwakuzokwenziwa. Ngaze ngabuza kuphixi mhla sizixoxela nje, wathi naye akazi usalinde uLady in Black ukuthi uzoqhamuka nani. Kuwo lowo mnyama ngisalinde i-feedback. Gwiqiqi sengizwa umbiko ngaye njalo uphixi wokuthi wembulwa itshe. How? Kanjani na? Selenziwe kwaze kwavunyelwana ngedate nange-dress code emva kwemihlangano ngingekho mina. Wathi uphixi ngakhishwa mina ngoba ngathi ngiyahoxa. Okuyinto engingayishongo kuphela ngathi ngizocontributor ey'ntweni ezithize ngaphandle kwe-edition. Ngangizozixakelani ngokwenza i-quotation ngoba ngangizosho zisuka nje ukuthi angizukungena kwi-tombstone nhlobo. Hayi, uphixiphixa xolise lokho nje ukuthi hey awuqede kube ne-misunderstanding. Okunye ebengikubuza mayelana nenkonzo okuthiwa izobe isekhaya njengoba sikhumbula uma nayo futhi ebengingazi ngayo. Uphixiphiqi wathi hayi ukhohliwe yena ukungazisa ngayo. Ungitshele ngoba sengimfonela dad. Wathi hayi ke asingabambeleli ey'ntweni ey'ncane ngoba zizobanga i-division. Ebe azi kahle ukuthi kade yabakhona le division futhi ayikaze idalwe yimi. Instead imina ohleze efuna ukuthula noxolo. Okusho ukuthi mina njalo mengikhuluma ngiyabhibhidla. Angizwakali. Ngiyakhohlakala ngisho nasezintweni ezibalulekile ezingifakayo. Kanti nemizwa yami ayithi shu. Kuthusa kakhulu mhla kuqhamuka kuphixiphiqi. Ebengithi uneqiniso kanti futhi akazwani nobuphixiphiqi. Kepha kuyacaca ukuthi nonke niseqenjini elilodwa elizimisele ngokungicekela phansi. Akukho engingakuzamanga ukusihlanganisa. Ngize ngaphoqa nomntanami ukuthi axole, adlulise, apatanise ubudlelwane nabantu abamzondayo kanye noma wakhe. Kwanele. Sengicela ningishayise ngomoya. Ngibongile. That was my mom finally standing up for herself and listing just a few things that have broken her heart, because she did mention that if she were to list them all, then she would have to write books on books on books on books. But everything that I've mentioned in this video, she mentioned. One thing abusers, bullies, oppressors, and narcissists can't stand is the truth. You expose them and you stand up for yourself. Welele, ubabulele. You have ended them. So now that mom was like, okay, deuces, I'm actually signing out for good now. Enough is enough. They are busy coming up with tactics and tricks to get her back so she can entertain their BS. When I tell you, as we speak, Lady in Black is busy telling her to come fetch her things from the family home. The family home, which is not her house. The very same family home that my mom renovated and revamped to the point where it looks as good as it looks today. And then Lady in Black decided, without consulting, without asking for permission, she decided to demolish my mom's room in order to increase the size of her room, as if my mom was dead. Now my mom is expected to come fetch her stuff from the family home, her home. Njani, make it make sense. And she is adamant that my mom needs to come matupa. She needs to come and fetch those things, and she shouldn't give them to anyone else. She should make sure that she takes them to her house. And when certain people are like, okay, let's help, let's take these things to mom, Lady in Black is like, no, she must fetch them herself, and she must take them to her house. Why? What has she done to those things? You think we're stupid? You think we don't know who you are and what you're capable of and which team you play for? So you've cast spells and performed witchcraft on those things, and my mom is supposed to bring them into her house. Imagine every time someone mentions my mom's house, Lady in Black spits or pretends to vomit, because that's how disgusted she is by the fact that my mom has her own house. That's how jealous she is. She can't even hide it in front of outsiders. And obviously she has minions and enablers that watch her do this nonsense, that watch her behave so disgustingly. So she'll continue to do as she pleases. And honestly, there's so much to unpack. I could go on and on and on. And just like my mom, if I were to state everything that has transpired, if I were to divulge everything, I would write books on books on books on books. And I probably will. But what gets me here is how everybody who my mom sacrificed for has turned their backs on her. Never mind me. I'm straight. I'll forever be good. I don't beg no one. Mina sengithole uthando lwangempela lweqiniso. I've found genuine love, real love. I get it on the daily. I'm a baguette from my husband, from my in-laws, and from my paternal family. Next. But unfortunately, my mom really, genuinely, desperately wants peace and love and unity within her family, regardless of how those people hurt her. After everything that my mom has done, there are people who have the gall to fix their lips and say, Bona abana mama. There are people who have the audacity to say they are motherless. After being neglected by my own mom because she felt she needed to give more attention, more love and support to certain people. All of a sudden, after my mom treated all of us as siblings and played the role of a mother to them, they have the nerve to get annoyed when my name is mentioned. They have isbindi, sibiti sato, the gall to say my mom and I have never helped them with anything. Do you hear what I'm saying? They say they had to fend for themselves all their lives. Until this very day, they still do that without our help. Where's your proof? Because I keep record of everything. If I were to produce receipts and show how many times I've came through for people in many ways, many different ways, including financial, everybody would call me an idiot. Because ngenzeka khulu, I did too much. Yet people are bold enough namhlanje in 2023 to say whenever I give them money or whenever my mom gives them money, they pay them back. Because they don't want us feeling like, yeah, mama. When have we ever felt that way? We've always been selfless. We've always been generous. We've always done the most even when we didn't have to. Just so everybody could be good. We made everybody happy at our own expense. Yet nisibonga ngeplate lamasimba. This is the thanks we get. I have proof of everything. Show me yours. Let's go. You want to play games with me and my mom? You will never get to disrespect my mom and expect to be on good terms with me. Let's go. People have the nerve to visit, take people shopping, take people out to eat, people who've never contributed a single cent to their growth, people who didn't even know what they wore, what they ate, how they survived, and how they became the people that they are today. They had no parts in that. They wanted no parts in that. They gave it all to my mom. And all they ever did was turn the children against each other, starting drama, feuds, planting seeds of jealousy and envy, making other children look at me as their enemy, the one who's gifted, the one who succeeds all the time, the one who's always being praised and celebrated, turning everyone against me. You have the nerve to spend quality time with those people to the point where even your children spend time. Children that my mom doesn't even know because she hasn't been introduced to them. I kid you not. This is mind-blowing. This is shocking. This is disgusting. But this is our reality. Not even 30 minutes of your time does she ever get. And sometimes you promise to come, but you never pitch. Do you call and apologize? Never. Life goes on like nothing happened because you disrespect and disregard her like that. And now you've gotten to a point where you feel it's okay to discard her. You feel it's okay to throw her to the wolves and treat her like garbage. The very same top-notch clothing that this woman used to buy you, you would leave outside. Noma kanjani? Uzuyikhohle, you'd even forget about them because you had so many different shoes and clothes. Today you're motherless. And people have conversations and think we'll never find out about them. People discuss us behind our backs and think all is well just because you'll post us every now and then. We're supposed to be happy and thankful for that. Meanwhile, behind our backs, the very same people that my mom sacrificed so much for are bold enough to say my mom isolates herself and doesn't attend family functions. Why? You know good and well how dangerous our family is. You know our family is so jealous of us, they go as far as bewitching us and attempting to unalive us. You know this. You even partake in conversations with our worst enemies pertaining to such things. Because you kiki and rub shoulders with our worst enemies. You don't even have the decency to give my mom a heads up and be like, yo, so-and-so and so-and-so are here. I'm inviting you. I know the dynamic. I know how dangerous that could be for you, my mom. So I'm letting you know. So you can decide what you want to do. You know good and well that we can't attend certain functions because we're constantly targeted and attacked. So we need to protect ourselves. Knowing all that you know, you have the goal to say, what's popping? You don't bow down to anyone. You won't beg anyone to come to your family functions. The very same family functions that serve as death traps for your mother. You have the nerve to utter such words, and you think we'll never find out about it. The very same people my mom sacrificed so much for have the nerve to tell their children that, hey, nizolandwa lapha. When their children visit us, these people call and say, hey, Sebonele, it's enough, we'll fetch you from that house. As if those children are stuck in the house or are stuck in Tikoloshe. As if we're some dangerous and evil creatures who would harm children. Enough is enough. I've remained silent for the longest of times because that is the approach that my mom wanted us to utilize or adopt. I am tired. I do not mind losing people who were never in my corner to begin with. Mina yelo. And I'm saying that with my chest. I have everybody that I need. And and then you come and you smile in my face and act like you love me, you're proud of me, you care about me. Kanti, your objective is to keep me close so that on rainy days you have a savior. So that when shit hits the fan, you have someone to help you. I can see right through you. I'm not an idiot. Neither is my mom. She just happens to be peaceful. And so am I. But there are lines that you just don't cross. And it's katele ukujwayelwa inina gabi. We're tired of putting ourselves in harm's way and putting our lives in jeopardy just so we could please you, when you know very well that you wouldn't do the same for us. You wouldn't do the same for anyone for that matter, because that's dumb. And for the longest of times, we've done things because we just wanted a family, a decent family. Well, now we have one. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset. But imagine for how long we've been upset. Yet we chose to suffer in silence just to make you comfortable. Until you change your ways. It is what it is. You've hated me for absolutely nothing at all. Now,